Nikko obviously took it down, but in the last round, things at some point didn't start going Nikko's way.
Yeah.
And so Nikko has a lot of diehard fans and a lot of people that absolutely hate him, and there's not a lot of in between.
Yeah.
I'm one of the ones in between. But I'm probably one of like 5% of players that don't have an opinion either way on Nikko.
Yeah.
Like the majority of players are like die hard, like screw everyone else that hates Nikko, and the other players are like screw Nikko and everyone that likes him. And that's kind of the state of disc golf right now.
Yeah.
And the reasoning is his passion, if you want to call it that, or temper tantrums, if you're on the other side, if you want to call it that.
Yeah.
So a player like Nikko, is it good for the sport? What do you like the way he wears his heart on his sleeve, or does he need to dial it back?
Well, here's the thing. I've always, since I started following disc golf, like way back when, 2013, 2014, around then, I always kind of sided with Nikko. I don't know why. I have no idea why, but like Nikko Locastro was somebody that like I guess I started watching like early on YouTube and was like, yeah, Nikko Locastro, I like this guy. Back then, I think he was a little more subdued. He had a bit of a rough patch where I think the game started getting away from him, and it got really bad. Like, and at this point, I would call some things that were happening tantrums. Like when we're shaking baskets and things like that. Here's the thing, though, Nikko Locastro. Well, if you hate Nikko Locastro, that's great, because that's what the sport needs, villains.
Yeah.
Okay. Like think about all the other sports you follow. There are athletes that you cannot stand. A lot of them, like Draymond Green, is one that a lot of people just do not like.
It's a polarizing thing.
Yeah, he thrives off of that, and that is good for the sport. The sport needs to have villains. Now, there's always going to be a line between entertainment and where I draw the line is if you're being disrespectful to the course, the spectators, or your card mates. Okay.
Yeah.
If you're doing something like that, then it's just no room for it. Like, you got to have this respect. But anything else, I could care less. Like, that's great for the sport. It's interesting. I want to see entertainment. We have a lot of guys that play professional disc golf right now that are essentially robots out there and don't like, and it's fine. I mean, they're in their zone. They're competitive. It's whatever. But like, let's, I like seeing a guy fist pump after he makes a big putt, or, kick some dirt a little bit after throwing one OB. Like, it makes it interesting to me. We can't shy away from that. We got to encourage people to be more dynamic personalities. And guess what? You become a more dynamic personality, you become more marketable.
Yep.
Because people know who you are. And if you're not going to be winning, now Nikko just did win, but if you're not going to be winning, you got to do something else
to make people know
make people know you.
Yeah.
And yeah, if you're a personality on the course, that'll do the trick.
Yeah, I think so. I think in Nikko's particular case, he needs to dial it back a little bit. Simply because now I want the passion. I want the fist pumps. I'm ticked off. And I think we see the ticked off more so from disc golfers and Nikko than we do the passion, because like even Paul will, when he was with Innova and he missed a shot with the Nova, like I felt bad for his Novas because those things were tacoed and rolled up into a burrito, and they're not coming back. Mm-hmm. But like even players, Paul again slaps his leg. Shoestrick used to do that. When he'd mess up, he'd pick up the disc and wail on his leg, and you're watching thinking that guy's got to have a bruise on his leg now.
Yeah.
But that side of the sport, I'm fine. I love that because, like you said, that's more entertaining and it shows emotion. It lets you connect with the player more. And on the other side, like fist pumping and stuff like that after makes, we don't see it a lot. Mm-mm. Like Paul has his little like side fist pump that'll hit.
Yeah.
Sexton has a round up fist and like stuff like that. But we don't see like a lot of people like getting super jacked, because I think where Nikko's anger and stuff will cross a line is when you're too loud.
Yeah.
Because at the same time, we want passion, we want stuff to be exciting to watch, but at the same time, we're playing a tournament, and there's probably a hole right next to you where a guy's teeing off and you're screaming the F word at the top of your lungs. I think we've all been there where we're lining up a putt, and someone like 2 holes over, you go down, and you just hear the F word screamed as loud as possible, and you're like, what the heck just happened?
And I think it's tough too, because there's a different dynamic in disc golf, especially right now. But like in ball golf, like you're watching on TV, these guys are screaming after they make a putt. You can't even hear them because the crowd's roaring so loud.
Yeah.
They're feeding off the crowd. So it looks a bit outlandish right now, but I mean, I dream of a day where a guy can make a big putt, fist pump, scream, yell, whatever, and you can't even hear him because the crowd is just yelling that loud.
I think that's what, like at the European Open. Yeah, I feel like that's kind of the disc golf where you could do stuff like that, because it's like the in golf, they always say you always know where Tiger's at.
The Tiger roar is different
because there's a different roar, and there's also that's where the most people are. I feel like in disc golf, you always know where Paul's at. Yeah, because I've been at Worlds and stuff where Paul's on the second card or he's not on the feature card or whatever, and the lead card's gallery is half the size of Paul's gallery. Yeah, because when a player like Paul or like Tiger are down for the count, they're on second or third card, you know something's coming. You know, oh my word, Paul's about to tear this course a new one. Mm-hmm. No offense to lead card, but I want to watch that happen. Yeah. So in those cases, Paul's just not a player to like really wear his heart on his sleeve, especially when he does something good. Yeah. Most of the time, if you're ever in person and you watch Paul play, it's different than when you watch Paul play on camera, because a lot of when Paul gets ticked is after the camera's cut off, after people are walking by and Paul's putting his disc back in his bag. Then he lets his anger out and like against himself, like, come on, dude, what the heck are you doing? Yeah. Wake up. Mm-hmm. You know what I mean? So when you're watching Paul on camera, and I'm sure this is true for some other players too, he looks like a stone-faced killer. Like he looks like nothing phases him. Mm-hmm. But if you've watched in person, you know that some stuff does. On the negative side, when Paul makes a big putt, he is a stone-faced killer. Like he's like, yeah, what do you mean? I expect to throw that 100-footer in. Yeah. You know, the most emotion I've seen is when he had that ace at Las Vegas.
Thunderbird. Yeah, that's
he
right.
threw that like flex line dead center and ran up high-fiving people because that was a big-time shot. But that's the most emotion I've seen out of Paul. Whereas Nikko can be having the round of his life, miss a 20-footer, and you're going to know about it 3 holes over.
Yeah, I don't know. It's tough for me to understand because like I'm just thinking the adrenaline be going through my body. Like if I'm making some big putt to win an event, like I'm fist pumping pretty hard at that point, or something. Because I guess it's like one of those things. Act like you've been there before, but I haven't. So
yeah, maybe Paul's first big win.
Last time I won was in 2014, junior 15 and under boys.
But I do think some players could be more like Nikko. And the fact of show some emotion. Yeah. Let people connect with you. Let people, because I think that's relatable, because we all, okay, I can't say we all. I sure as heck have missed a 10-footer and had like just in a tournament just be like ticked off and I just want to punch the ground or I want to do something. So you can relate to Nikko in like that aspect. And so I think every disc golfer can, because every disc golfer's hit the first tree and been like, oh my gosh, and you just want to blow up. Yeah. So you can relate to Nikko in that aspect, but you need to dial it back a little bit if you are Nikko. If your other players act like Nikko, because you're probably not going to go into a full-on temper tantrum if right now you're acting like a robot. But if you're Nikko, dial it back a little bit so that it's still professional and you're not screaming, but at the same time you're showing your emotion. Yeah. I like that. Mm-hmm. And you know, even like when he won the tournament, and he like yelled, he's like, Kale, bring me my bear. He held it up, and then Jeff Spring walked up to like try to get an interview. He's like, I'm jumping in the lake. Like, that's where, you know, it needs to be dialed back, because it's like, you won, celebrate, hold your trophy up. Now, be professional, do the interview, keep your shirt on. Let's not jump in the lake right now. You know what I mean? So I like Nikko from like a passion side. I just think he goes a step too far a lot of times. Yeah. And sometimes it bites him in the butt. Like I've seen him slam his stool down on the ground, his disc pop up over his head and go rolling down the hill. And like, that's great. I love that, because it's like, that's what you got, buddy. Go fetch a ball. But no, like, I don't know. It's tough because, like I said, there's room for it. Other players probably need to show more emotion, but Nikko's one of the rare cases that needs to dial it back a little bit, buddy. Let's rein it in. You know, settle down.